It's everywhere. A new study has found that chemicals from tobacco smoke can contaminate indoor areas where no one has smoked for decades. Drexel University researchers analyzing air in a non-smoking classroom found that chemicals from third-hand smoke made up 29% of the air mass. When they filled a glass container with cigarette smoke and then treated it with outdoor air, the team found that third-hand smoke chemicals in the air increased by 13% after contact with the container. Experiments show that third-hand smoke residue on surfaces can be redistributed into the air when exposed to chemicals like ammonia and attached to aerosol particles that enter via the HVAC system. The same system allows the particles to be carried to different rooms throughout a building, exposing people to potentially hazardous chemicals. Current studies on third-hand smoke indicate it has harmful effects, with one UK study suggesting every 1 in 1,000 of those exposed face an increased risk of cancer. But scientists believe more research is needed not only on the health implications, but also on whether chemicals in increasingly popular e-cigarettes will have a similar effect. Stop killing your body.
How do cotton swabs send kids to the hospital? Let me count the ways. Stop putting cotton swabs in your ears and keep them away from your children. That's the advice of doctors who say that dozens of kids are sent to the ER in the United States every day after misusing Q-tips. According to a U.S. study, 12,500 children are admitted to emergency rooms annually with ear complaints. One of the most common diagnoses in these cases is the presence of foreign bodies, such as cotton swabs. Pushing a cotton swab into the ear canal can perforate the eardrum, injure soft tissue, or damage hearing bones. Using cotton swabs can also push wax further into the ear canal and cause it to impact. Ear injuries like this can cause dizziness, infection, or result in irreversible loss of hearing. The information comes from a study conducted between 1990 and 2010. According to the study, more than 260,000 children were sent to the ER during this period after putting cotton swabs in their ears. The CDC says to stop eating your placenta if you want a healthy baby. It may seem like a bizarre diet, but some people, including celebrities such as Kim Kardashian, believe eating placenta can speed up postpartum recovery and restore youth. However, U.S. health authorities are saying people shouldn't do this, as it may put their babies at risk of infection. The placenta is a fetal organ that provides oxygen and nutrients to babies, and removes waste products from the baby's blood. Some people believe consuming the placenta has physical benefits, as the organ is full of blood and hormones. One way placenta is consumed is by being dried and ground into powder, before being ingested in capsule form. Medical experts warn the placenta can be full of infectious agents, such as Group B Streptococcus bacteria. Taking non-properly sterilized placenta capsules could increase an infant's risk of contracting such a bacterial infection, which could lead to infection in the lungs, brain, blood, bones, and joints in newborn babies. Placenta eating has been promoted for years, even though there are no medical findings to support the so-called benefits. Still, people believe in this diet and have even developed recipes to prepare the organ, such as placenta spaghetti and placenta roast. Gaming study says too much in-game GPS is bad for you. Next time you boot up your favorite first-person shooter, it may be wise to switch off the heads-up display or minimap. Why? According to new research, too much in-game GPS could be bad for your brain. Participants in the video game study played games for between 2 and 4 hours, 3 times a week for up to 12 hours per week, resulting in 90 hours of gameplay time. The research looked at the effects of gameplay on the hippocampus and the caudate nucleus. The first is responsible for emotions, learning, and memory formation. The latter helps us form habits and routines. Routines such as when to eat, exercise, or get home from work, and how to reward yourself for your behavior, are stored in the caudate nucleus. The study found the hippocampus shrank after 90 hours of action and shooter gaming because players use their caudate nucleus more to play and navigate. However, the reverse was true for those playing 3D platform games. After 90 hours, researchers saw an increase in the gray matter in their hippocampi, and they were reportedly playing Super Mario games. The gist of it is this: in shooters and action games, players follow a map and are on a linear path, going from A to B. The study puts that too much of this is harmful for your brain. Super Mario, on the other hand, the researchers say, encourages you to remember landmarks and use spatial awareness and is good for the brain. And a bad hippocampus, they say, can result in depression and possibly even dementia. But University of Oxford professor Andrew Szubrylski points out that the study lacks statistical power and the framing of harm may mislead readers. He told the Mirror, the interpretation of harm, although attention-grabbing, was not peer-reviewed and appears to have been introduced afterwards. So basically, the study got published, then it was spun in a news release stating video games can harm brains. Newspapers saw that and thought, video games cause brain damage, yo! But the reality is that studies on gaming are inconclusive and mixed at best. For every study that says gaming is good for you, you'll find one that says it's bad. And speaking of studies, this team's work has been, as Villanova University psychology professor Patrick Markey tweets, debunked in the past for similar reasons. What's your take? Fire off below and let us know.
Going to bed late can lead to earlier death. Do you go to bed as the sun comes up? Well, your sleeping habits could be shortening your life. New research suggests people who go to bed late were shown to have a 10% higher mortality rate than early risers. The study, published in Chronobiology International, observed 433,628 individuals for a 6.5-year period. 50,000 late bedders of those sampled were more likely to die or suffer diseases and mental health issues. This, according to co-lead author Professor Kristen Knutson, explained, may be due to stress, lack of exercise, alcohol or drug abuse, or other unhealthy behaviors. Knutson suggests night owls could try to get to bed early more regularly and get exposed to light early in the morning. The study says society can help as well by letting night owls work to times suiting their natural patterns.
Sitting is the new smoking. Health experts have long warned against the perils of sitting all day, but a new study suggests the length of time spent inactive in between bouts of movement also matters. Hip-mounted accelerometers measured physical inactivity in nearly 8,000 Americans aged 45 years and older and found that they were sedentary for 12.3 hours out of a 16-hour waking day. When measuring bout length, it was discovered that subjects who sat for longer periods at a time were more likely to have died at the end of the study period than those with shorter sitting spells. Findings indicate that moving around for every 30 consecutive minutes of inactivity may significantly decrease the risk for death. The study did not explain how sitting increases early death, but experts suggest inactivity exposes the body to higher blood glucose levels, which leads to problems like diabetes, heart disease, or stroke. Prolonged sitting may also weaken the abdominal muscles, hip flexors, and glutes. It could also lead to a lack of circulation in the legs, potentially resulting in blood clots forming in the veins, a condition known as deep vein thrombosis. Alas, working out after a long day of sitting in an office chair may not necessarily undo all its ill effects. The best way to lengthen your lifespan, it seems, is to move about as often as you can.
Might want to lay off the prepackaged grub. In case you needed more proof that fresh is best, a new study has found that nanoparticles in food packaging may be harming your gut. Canned goods are typically lined with zinc oxide nanoparticles for their antimicrobial properties. When looking at how many nanoparticles are transferred to food, Binghamton researchers found 100 times the recommended daily allowance of zinc oxide. While in the small intestine, the nanoparticles cause the remodeling or loss of microvilli, resulting in reduced cell nutrient absorption. High doses of zinc oxide also triggered pro-inflammatory signaling. This can increase intestinal permeability and allow harmful compounds to pass into the bloodstream. Since only a cell model was used to demonstrate the effects, it's difficult to determine how long-term ingestion can impact human health. For now, the researchers are looking at the nanoparticles' effects on animals.
Smartphones definitely cause cancer. Maybe not. If you're watching on your phone, it's giving you mad cancer. Oh, it might be, or it might not. 2 new studies have found a correlation between cell phone radiation and cancer in lab rats. Researchers from the U.S. National Toxicology Program tested 3,000 rats and mice of both sexes for 2 years, while European scientists at the Ramazzini Institute in Italy studied 2,500 rats from fetal stage to death. Smartphones emit non-ionizing radiation measured in radio frequency energy. Cell phones and wireless devices emit RF radiation continually, with dose intensity varying with distance from the body. The studies found that prolonged exposure to even low levels of RF radiation cause male rats to develop rare heart tumors called schwannoma, which affects a neuron called a Schwann cell. In the Ramazzini study, researchers also found a weaker link between RF exposure and glial cell cancer in the brain of female rats. So is your phone giving you cancer? Probably not as much as your diet.